Go right to questions.
Okay, we'll start taking questions. We have mics on both sides of the room. Please raise your hand and we'll get a mic to you.
Juwan Illinois had a 7-point lead with a couple minutes left. You guys come back. You guys had a 7-point lead. A couple minutes left in overtime. They come back. Just what was the feel of that game as you were watching?
As you witness, for those who were here in the building and for the viewers that was out there watching on TV, it was one of those great games that you wish you had a chance to witness. Unfortunately, always in this level of competition in the game of basketball, there's going to be one team that wins and one team that loses. And I feel bad for our guys because how they competed from start to finish, and going into double overtime, and also having players foul out, key players, but still able to maintain and figure out and claw and fight. And, so overall, it hurts to lose this ball game, but I'm proud of our guys' effort.
To your left, Coach.
Juwan, end of regulation and end of overtime. What were you really happy with execution-wise, and what are some things maybe you'd like to have back? Or?
Hey, I'll tell you some of the plays I like to have back. Some of the, there were some questionable calls that, but overall, it's a tough game to referee, and so I never ever point the finger at anyone. I'm proud of how our guys just presented themselves out there on the floor. Defensively, we held this team at home to 41% from the field, 27% from three. We won the rebounding game. Unfortunately, they beat us up in the paint, with that margin. But I can't ask for anything more from my group. I just love how they competed.
Here to the right.
Juwan, you lose a really close game on the road against a good team. When you're battling for your postseason position, how do you make sure you take the positives from it and don't let it carry over to another?
I will continue to be the most positive leader for this group because this is what they need right now. And there's no need to try to beat these young men up. They hear it enough out there from the media, social media. It's a tough world that they live in. They also hear it enough, from the crowd. All the stuff that's being said behind the bench. I mean, it's like nasty everywhere. But it's a tough world. But our guys never make excuses for it. They stay dialed in with the mental toughness aspect of it. They stay supporting one another, being positive through some of the ups and downs, learning from some of the losses, also growing with the wins. The year is not over for us. We're going to keep clawing, and we have another tough game that's on the road in Indiana. We're going to get back home, take a look at some film, get back in the gym, and plan on going to Indiana and competing hard like how we did here.
To the middle of the left.
At the end of the game, we got a really good look. Unfortunately, just didn't go in our favor.
Right here to the left in the middle.
Hey, Juwan, Jet hit some big shots on the stretch, both last minute regulation to force overtime and in overtime after missing a couple games with an ankle injury. What did you like from him there, especially offensively?
Well, Jet logged a lot of minutes for his first game back, almost 44 minutes. And, that's tough, after having 2 practices and to get thrown in the thick of it right away. Knowing being a former athlete myself, it takes time to get your conditioning back. It takes time to get your legs underneath you as well as your timing. But young fella, he has a certain DNA about him that's pretty special. He always, rises up to the level of competition. So he wanted to play in the Wisconsin game. I didn't let him. He's not the type of one that want to sit out for games. And seeing that we were going to come into and play against a tough physical team like Illinois, he was ready for it. But unfortunately, he fouled out. Terrence Reed fouled out. We needed them both, but we had other guys to step up.
Here to the right, Coach.
Yeah, Juwan, I think you guys took 3 timeouts in the first half. I wonder if you could explain what happened with the third one, and then.
Oh, well, I take ownership of one was on my fault, and I know that we also had a loose ball that we call a timeout from, but the last one, that was on me, so I take full ownership of that. But that didn't have anything to do with the game, sir.
Okay. Well, I just wonder, in the middle of the second half, when they were making a run, it was good. They made a 9-0 run.
And we made a run back. So what you got for that?
Just wondering if you would.
That's basketball. That's basketball. Basketball is a game of runs. that's how it goes in the sport. You know, you're gonna have a team that make a run, and you know we have to respond by getting stops, and we responded by getting stops, and then we also got some really good looks on the offensive end.
We're gonna be back here to the left. Bill?
Juwan, Hunter kind of got it going down the stretch, especially in that first overtime period. Was there anything you said to him or anything that kind of like sparked that run?
You know, I don't have to tell Hunter anything. All I just have to tell him is, you know, hey, we're going to you, big fella. So he delivers every time, and that's why I'm always in the trenches with Hunter Dickinson. You know, one of the best players in college basketball, and it's happy to say that he's on our side. Number one, baby.
Right here in front.
Juwan, it looked like Terrence Shannon and Matthew Meyer got going in the overtimes together. I guess what kind of challenges does it present when both of those two are kind of on at the same time?
Well, they both are really good football players. I know Terrence Shannon. He's from one of the best cities in the country, that's Chicago. Followed the young man and watched his growth. Mayor, you know, I watched him win the NCAA title with Baylor. Two unique players. Illinois very fortunate to have, you know, those two young guys who poses a lot of, you know, matchup problems for their opponent. But you know, we had guys that was dialed into the competition, did not run from it. But you know, you look at the free throw line. You know, Terrence Shannon had 16 free throws. He almost had more free throws than we shot. We only had 24.
Here to the left.
So, Juwan, I wonder what the feeling is like when, you know, the team's clearly kind of ascending now, playing better and better, and almost getting better by the week. And at the same time, you know, time is running out and things like that. So, as a coach, when you're finally seeing the development you've been looking for, but you're also looking at the clock and saying there's only so many games left. Like, how does that play out for you?
One game at a time. I grew up with pressure. If you follow my background, and I'm sure you already have, you know, that's pressure right there. But this is a game of basketball, and this is a game that everyone truly loves playing, and you gotta have fun with it. And we have another game that we're going to play on Sunday, and then we'll get ready for the Big Ten tournament.
Here to the right.
Juwan, kind of similar. I guess every team wants to be peaking at this time. You guys seem to actually be doing it. Why do you think that is?
Because of everyone in that locker room with the mindset of understanding, you know, the level of competition in this league, that every night that you're going to play in the Big Ten, you're going to play against a great team. And with that, the preparation and practice on getting ready for each and every team that we face, I just admire and respect how these guys have, you know, stayed and trusted the process.
Right here in front.
Kobe Buffkin had 10 points in that 12-2 run when it seemed like your guys' back was against the wall. What did you see from him in that stretch, and then also, I guess, in closing regulation and overtimes?
Well, Kobe, like his teammates, they all competed, you know, and they didn't stop competing until the end of the buzzer.
Anything else for Juwan? Thank you, Coach.